In this video, I'm going to show you the settlements that I've created on my first playthrough of Fallout 4. By this time I've finished the main quests and really a lot of the side quests. I don't know how many more there could possibly be, but I've done a lot of them. And I'm level 96. And if I seem a little hesitant on this, it's because it's the first live stream I've done on YouTube. So I'm gonna try this and see how it goes. So let's go. And by the way, unfortunately, because this is a live stream, we have to sit through all the loading that takes place in between screens. And talking to somebody recently about games like this, especially Bethesda games that have these massive open worlds, this is one of the big drawbacks to it. All the loading you have to wait for and suffer through toward the end of the game. Way too much. It would be really nice if Bethesda would figure out some way to get rid of all this unnecessary waiting and just have games that you can play through and not have to wait. I would understand if you're doing a fast travel, that kind of makes sense because you have to load an entirely different area of the game. But just going out of a building like what I just did here, it takes way too long. So anyway, we're going to go first to Sanctuary Hills because that was the first settlement that I got. And we'll take a look and see how I set up the defenses and that kind of stuff. And my premise with this video is that I'm going to do another one before too long, probably this week, and I'm going to show you in that one what my settlements look like in my second playthrough of the game. So on the second playthrough, I haven't finished yet, but I did find a way to sort of uniformly set up my settlements in a way that seems to work pretty well for defending them. So anyway, yeah, great. So it's one of these rainy days. In this playthrough, the first thing I tried to do was build a wall around the entire settlement, and it seemed kind of like it worked, but there were times when I was supposed to do a settlement defense, and in this settlement it seems like I only get attacked by ghouls, and they couldn't get through the wall, so it was hard to finish the settlement defense quest. So instead, what I ended up doing was building this sort of, I don't know, skyscraper thing. By the way, I'm playing on Xbox One. I built this sort of tall skyscraper thing, and figuring, probably incorrectly, that attackers may come from across this bridge here. So I put some cement pylon things to either side to try to make it a funnel to come through. And if you look up here, you can see all these missile and heavy laser turrets will dispatch pretty much anything that comes through here. So, and then inside the building, let's see, I put the stairs on the other side here so that, in the hopes that it would cause people not to enter the building and infiltrate it. But you can see I put a generator down here, ran electricity, of course, to power the turrets over here. But then up here, I have a huge living space. And keep in mind, when I did this, I didn't know what the limits were for settlements. And I didn't see, when I did this, I did not see the size limitation. So I was thinking, oh, I'll just fill this whole thing up with beds and have like 50 people in this place. Not knowing that you can't really do that. But up here on the second story, you can see it was just waiting for more beds and more living space. And then on the third story, I built my own little area here figuring that I'd sleep in here on one of my 4 cushy beds there, and with my companion, whoever it happened to be. And then I made a top level with more generators and my beacon so that it can't get destroyed. And I put the generators up here so that they can't get damaged, because I don't think most opponents are going to rush up here and try to find a way to damage my generators. I haven't had a chance to test that because no one attacks me anymore. But then to defend this side, I put all these missile turrets. And then over here, in case there is an attack that gets to my other sort of main area over there by that house, you can see it in the distance there. I put these 5 turrets to defend this area. So we're going to go over to the other side there and take a look at the main area. You know, the more I think about this, it may take a long time to go through all the settlements. So I think what I'm going to do in this video is just show a couple of the settlements so you can get an idea of sort of how I was setting things up. You can see I put a wall up here, a cement wall. For some reason I couldn't line up my cement here, so I just put a regular wall with floors and just enclosed it. But if you look over here, got my power armor collection going. That's some of the power armors I got. One of the things I found kind of not, I don't know, I don't want to say realistic, because a game like this isn't realistic anyway. It's kind of the whole point of it, is that it's not realistic. But how common these things are. I mean, I found probably 15 or 20 different suits or power armor, what do you call them? The little frame that you put them in. I found a lot of them all over the place. Anyway, so let's get back to the whole defense thing. So here, you see I have my little shops over there, and this whole little inner courtyard area is surrounded by walls, so nobody can get in there without trying. I have my farming and water over here, and it's pretty protected like this. I've never had a successful attack against this settlement, and I don't know if it's just because the only worthless attacks I have are the ghouls or what, but they just haven't, no one's been successful infiltrating this settlement. Anyway, so we have more defense up here, and these are covering the little funnel I made down here in the wall, as well as the ones across the way there. So this whole area in the middle, or it's not really the middle, this whole area where the little dot is that shows where you're looking is protected by 5 missile turrets or 5 turrets I should say, on the skyscraper thing in the distance, and then these right here, which is another 4 of machine guns, lasers, and missiles. And then over here to protect my farm, I have more laser and missile turrets. And then here I have an additional bunch of machine gun turrets protecting the shopping mall, for lack of a better word. The shopping mall and my water. So that's Sanctuary Hills, and I have a grand total of 390 defense on this place. And as you can see by the top right there, there's quite a bit of size left over if I wanted to add whatever. So anyway, so this is Sanctuary Hills. I don't remember what the second settlement I found was, but I do want to show Grey Garden, because I did something a little bit different, I think, with Grey Garden. And while it's loading, I'll tell you a little bit about it. So in case you don't remember, Grey Garden is the settlement where all the robots pick the fruit and all that stuff. And they have the annoying Supervisor Green that thinks everything is a game show. Totally annoying. It's one of my least favorite characters in the entire game, that green thing, Supervisor Green. But I'm going to show you this because it's shaped kind of oddly. And I'm going to show you Hangman's Alley as well, because that's another very strangely shaped settlement that you can get. But here's what I did here. If you look, okay, so there's the freeway, right? That's just to the south of the settlement. And let's just go to the ground. I think if we start off at the
Raiders thought we were easy.
at the workshop, it'll give you a good frame of reference. So if we come over here and look back at the thing, I had to, in this case, put my generators outside. And it was just because originally I had them enclosed behind some walls, but the raiders and whatever attackers got to them anyway. So I figured, you know what, I'm just going to leave them out in the open, and I'm going to put a bunch of turrets out here so nothing can get close enough to attack them. And so far it's worked pretty well. I have not had to repair them very often. But you can see there's, you know, lasers and machine gun and the missile turret there, as well as some more machine guns and lasers and missiles up here. And then originally I had a living quarters attached to this back area here, but I decided to enclose the entire greenhouse with concrete walls so that the inside couldn't get messed up by attackers. Funny thing is, the attackers never seem to target the inside of this settlement anyway. But anyway, so let's just go up here. And what I did was I put more defenses up here. Not too much, because I haven't seen attacks come from the south like this area. And then I put my living quarters over here in this particular playthrough. You'll see how different it is in the next video I do. That's the playthrough of the second time through. But God, get out of the way. I hate how these characters don't know how to get out of my way. But you can see I have their beds up here. So, and there's enough for the people that settled here, because, you know, most of the settlement is manned by robots. And then I noticed that there's a checkpoint down past that billboard. So I extended this platform all the way as far as I could out here and put 3 missile turrets at the end, so that if any of the fighting from that checkpoint spills over toward the settlement, the turrets take care of them pretty quickly. So kind of a strange setup, I think, and it's something that I did not repeat on my second playthrough, and I'll show you why on the second playthrough video. But anyway, and then of course, in order to add some other turrets, I put some up here, just because I have a case of OCD that I didn't want to have them floating on top of the glass like the one over there is. So, okay, so there's a little bit more living quarters over here too. I forgot about that. Just a living room, you know, place for the settlers to read or watch this very exciting programming on television. Actually, this programming on TV in Fallout is probably better than most of the program on our current contemporary TV, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, so that's Grey Garden. Hangman's Alley we're going to look at because it's kind of a strange setup in terms of shape and size. And, you know, I think in this playthrough I may have captured or settled, I think I got all the settlements on this one. If I didn't get all of them, I got almost all of them. So there's actually quite a bit to look at here. Another one I would like to show in this video, I think we'll go for probably 2 more after this. One of them is Spectacle Island, which I think is probably the coolest settlement in the entire game, just because of the sheer size of it. And I want to show it in this playthrough because in this video, because in this playthrough I found it very late in the game, like after I was already done with the main quest, so I wasn't able to utilize it in a very strategic way. It was just kind of an afterthought, like, oh look, here's a settlement I missed. oh wow, this thing is huge. What can I possibly do with it? And you'll see what I ended up doing with it in that case. We'll get to that in a minute. Here's Hangman's Alley. It finally loaded. God, this thing's slow. But check this thing out. I always put my my welcome mat, you know, the magnet or base, whatever, for when you fast travel, in a place that's sort of strategically advantageous. So up here, the attacks always come through this door. So I've got this entire sort of courtyard thing set up with machine gun turrets, and if you look up here, and I fell through the floor. If you look up here, you do not want to come into this place, because those missiles and heavy lasers will take you out in about 2 seconds flat. I had to put some machine guns back here because somehow, and I don't know how they did this, but somehow raiders or other attackers managed to get back here. And I still don't know why or how they do it, because there's no doors really or anything. And the one door that's up here is chained. I never did unblock that. So I don't know where they come from when they come in here. But I put some extra machine guns just in case. And then the cool thing here is I blocked off this other entrance completely with walls, right? See that? See that wall there? So they can't come from that direction. And I put a machine gun here, and then on the second level of this, I put a missile turret. So you don't want to come up this alleyway either, because if you do, you're dead. That missile alone will take you out in about 2 seconds. At least any of the monster/NPCs it'll take out in 2 seconds. Especially in conjunction with the heavy machine gun turret. Look, here's some more quality programming. But in this one, I've made a little compartment area here for the 2 generators that are powering all the turrets. And I enclosed it with walls, hoping that maybe, you know, they won't get shot over the wall and damaged. And then over here, we have a little bit more living space. And then these are all the turrets I was showing you a minute ago. I mean, really, you do not want to even attempt to come through this door down here, because it's just a total death trap. And finally, before we leave this settlement, I'm going to show that I've used most of the size up that I have available in this one, and have a total of 238 defense points, which is pretty good. I did not put any shops or anything in here because it's not really conducive for that. It's really kind of too small. But I'm going to go back down. Oops. Oh, I can't get up there. Go back down. You can look one more time. There's some... Sounds like something's going on out there. Is that our sound? No. It's on the other street, apparently. Anyway. Go back down here. You can see the other living space that I made. Look, I even gave him... This is a little bit unusual for me. I even gave him some bathroom here. So, anyway, let's get out of here. I'm walking through just to give you one more look at it. This is what the lower level looks like. The other machine guns. Got some water and kind of threw out, and then I put the farm way back here, thinking that the attackers would never get to it. Like I told you before, sometimes they come from somewhere right around here where my idiot NPC is trying to walk through the wall. I have absolutely no idea how they get back here, but they do somehow. So I actually do have to have some repairs to this settlement sometimes when I'm playing. So okay, so next stop we're going to go to Spectacle Island. Here it is. I'm going to also show you the castle in this video, because the way I did the castle in my next video that I'm going to post in the next week or two is going to show you a completely different way to do the castle, in a way that you don't have to waste time with the castle walls. I know people love rebuilding the castle walls, but it is an utter waste of time, and I'll show you why in the next video. The sort of homogenized look that I got to my settlements in my second playthrough is really effective. So anyway, so here's Spectacle Island, and like I was saying before, this is really late in the game, and this is kind of a precursor or a sort of a preview of what you're going to see in the next one, kind of. Anyway, let's take a look. We'll get up high so you can see everything. I did not bother building much of anything out on the main island, simply because there's no reason to. You know, all it does if you build stuff out here is give potential attackers something to damage and to ruin. So I didn't bother with that. Instead, I made this sort of walled in, I don't know, central fortress area around my initial, what do you call that thing, a hut, I guess, that you need to liberate to get the settlement in the first place. And then I built some turrets to, basically it's on every corner. So this is actually almost like a castle. I essentially am defending every corner of this enclosed structure with missiles. And so, yeah, it's a very effective way. The only thing I don't like about these missile turrets is that when they shoot things, it blasts the body parts everywhere, and sometimes it's hard to run down there and loot whatever tried to attack you. But anyway, there's my farm, right? Lots of farm area in this one. Lots of water as well. I'll turn this on so you can see. 90 water. We've got 30 food. And the defense on this is 330. So it's almost as defended as my Sanctuary Hills settlement. The way I did the water was I just sort of lined them up inside my interior walls there. Anyway, down here, oh, and then I like to use cement walls for these sort of walled in things. And then I'll use regular walls when I can't get the cement ones lined up properly or whatever. Okay, that's on the first playthrough. Like I said before, the second playthrough, totally different. And you're going to see what I think is probably the absolute best way to create your defenses and your settlements in the second playthrough. But here's some hidden, generator. I got some shops here to try to keep people happy. Looks like the bartender's on a break or something. And then I did build the little tent thingy over here so that the traders from shoot, the name escapes me now. The one with the monument in the middle. They can come here and do their trading. It's weird though. I mean, all the traders seem to show up at the same time. I got the doctor here. We got Carla down here. The only one I don't see is Cricket and Lucas. I wonder why there's two of these guys here. But anyway, doesn't really matter. We're going to go up into the structure now. Kind of hid the entrance to it up here. So we go right up. And so here's our main living quarters. I'm still not entirely clear how important it is to have decorations and electricity and all that stuff, but I did it anyway just because I thought it was kind of cool to dress it up for the people. They have a little lounge area with the amazingly wonderful programming. I don't know why they didn't make some kind of, simulated TV programs. It was one of the things I was kind of disappointed in because it doesn't seem like it would be hard for them to add that. I don't know. I'm not a programmer. But I know that in Grand Theft Auto 5, for example, you can turn the TV on. You can actually watch TV for like 15 minutes, And the movie theaters in Grand Theft Auto also play movies. They suck, but they play them, It's something sort of adds a bit of realism to the game. Although honestly, I don't know in post-apocalyptic Boston what programming could possibly be coming over the television. But then in that case, why even have televisions? You know what I mean? So anyway, let's go up top and you can see what I did on the very top level. I created a prefab large wooden shack, and this is, oh look, she's dancing on the table. What did I walk in on? But this
I'm
is
starting to think we're
nothing
finally
but
saving those damn raiders.
living space for the people. I mean, you'd think they'd be very happy. I've got lamps. They could sit in these nice cushy chairs and just kind of check out a magazine or a book. We have nice art and even a nice little chandelier there. And then on the top floor, we have a bathroom. It even has a little chest here, so you can put your diapers and tampons and stuff, your extra toilet paper rolls or whatever they use. Come to think of it, I'm not sure I've ever seen a toilet paper roll in this game. So maybe they just use the old burnt magazines and books and stuff. And then, of course, if you're going to be taking a bath, you want a view, don't you? So here's a nice view of, well, there's Warwick Homestead way off in the distance there. So I think that probably does it for this settlement. Let's go to... Now I'm trying to remember which other one I said I was going to show you. I think it was the lighthouse, wasn't it? I wanted to show you the lighthouse because it's a strange, sort of a strange settlement. So let me find it. Kingsport Lighthouse. I'm probably making a mistake and forgetting which one I said I was going to go to because I did not make notes for this. I just want to kind of wanted to do it on the fly and see if it turned out okay. But the lighthouse is a pretty cool settlement too because it's bigger than it seems and you can build up pretty far. Now, I didn't build up very far on this particular iteration or playthrough of the game, but I do want to show you what I did with it because it's a pretty well developed settlement. Okay, so here we are. They really like to stand on the beds and tables and stuff in this game, don't they? Oh, here's another pet peeve of mine. Why didn't Bethesda make it so that these corpses disappear from your settlements? Or why didn't they make it so that when you drag the corpse out of your house and throw it over the cliff, which I've done with this corpse many times, it never stays where I put it. It always comes back to the same place. And it seems to me like if the people were going to live here, which they do, they wouldn't have a corpse in their bedroom. I mean, how stupid is that? But anyway, let's take a look. So I put beds all over the place. I'm really big on trying to squeeze as much living space or bedroom space as possible into these places. I got a lot of beds everywhere. I got a bunch of little generators here to power my defenses that are up here. And this is what I was talking about. These missile turrets up here take out anything that tries to come around that trailer. Because there's a road down there. And I notice that a lot of times the attacks come from that road. So I've got missile turrets here. I've got some machine guns up here. And there is nothing that's going to get anywhere past this little truck trailer down here. Then I have my farm all around here as well, being defended essentially by these turrets. Yeah, you really would not want to try to attack this settlement. And I have also noticed that sometimes there are attacks that come from down here in this little sort of cliff area. And so I put some machine guns over here. There's not really an easy way up this little embankment. So the machine guns do a pretty good job of defending that. But here's my backup. In case something does come up, and honestly, I haven't seen an attack where these turrets activate. But if you look up here, I put some missile turrets on top of the lighthouse as well, thinking that if something does get to this area, they'll shoot down from up there. But you know what? I don't think it actually works that way because they seem like they're too far up, like they don't detect whatever happens to come through that area. I'm gonna take you up here just to show you how I developed it. So I thought at the time it was a pretty cool idea. You see what I'm saying? I've got some generators, and it's a pretty open shot if something does try to come up there. That is, if they happen to detect it. So again, I'm not sure if they do. I haven't seen them fire, but there they are. Anyway, let's go back down, because down here there's another part to the settlement that's worth knowing about if you don't already know about it. And it's a pretty neat place to set up some defenses. And that is the boathouse. Check this out. So I put some generators. I put my beacon down here. No particular reason necessarily. But you don't want to attack this area either, because those missile turrets and laser turrets, if you try to come from that direction, take you out in about 2 seconds flat. So that's the other thing. And then in this case, I also put some sleeping quarters down here, and I put a ladder for access to get up here in case I needed to rearrange any of these things. But you see, they have a clear shot to anything that wants to come and try to take out my generators. And if they come from the top over here, then the turrets from up on top of that area on the house will take them out before they get anywhere near it. So anyway, okay, so I've been talking here for about 30 minutes, and I think I showed you most of what I wanted to show you in this video, sort of the different ways I decided to defend things based on the terrain or the setup of the settlement, the layout of it. And in the next video, which will be a tour of the settlements, in my second playthrough, I'm going to show you what I found to be the most effective design for settlements. And you might be surprised at how open it is. So thanks for watching. If you have a question or a comment, leave it in the comments section below. If you think my content is fun or entertaining, worthwhile, or whatever, please consider subscribing. That helps me out too. And I'll continue to bring you more of this kind of stuff. Make it a great day. I'll talk